the last year of our 9-year cycle. And that means completion. Things are going to end. Things will disappear. Things that maybe you weren't ready for them to disappear.
Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I'm your host, Angela Duncan. Today's episode, I get to interview Suzan Owens. She is an author and a coach. We're going to talk about numerology, the background behind numerology. We're going to talk about this year, which is the year of the 8, and how you should be implementing that into your business and personal life, and so much more. Hi, Suzan. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast.
Oh, thanks, Angela. I'm just really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's a very interesting topic I've not had on the show before. So I'm excited to hear your expertise, but I would love for you to first start off with your journey and how you got to doing what you do today.
Well, I've always been interested in metaphysics. I studied astrology and tarot, and I've done some psychic work as well as some mediumship work. So I've always kind of delved in that area. And then about 30 years ago, numerology just fell into my lap. Meaning a book. I got a book, and I just couldn't get enough, and everything resonated, everything vibrated the same way. And I just, nothing has ever spoken to me like that. So I was really excited. I got more and more. I have a huge library, and I found some authors that were that I really, really respected, and approached them, and they mentored me. So it's been a wonderful journey. And since I got into numerology, my life has structure, and for me, being a 3, that's important. And a lot of my life now is run by the vibration of numbers. For instance, this is an 8-year. So This is my year. 8 is all about business, management, authority. It's a big number for anyone listening to your podcast, because it's entrepreneurship, absolutely. And this is the year that I decided that I wanted to launch my business. That's why I chose this year to do it. The other thing I should tell you is that there's a Z in my name. I was born Suzan with an S, but I added the Z because that, again, is an 8. Every letter of the alphabet has a number attached to it, and the Z is the 8. And I thought, I need that 8 in my name. I don't have that 8. So that's why I put the Z in there. So just to get that vibration going, but all about business, all about money, big money year. And that's been true in my case. I've certainly invested a lot this year. I'd like to see a return, right? I'm ready for some return on it.
Can you give us a little history on numerology, maybe for the audience that doesn't know?
Well, it's been around forever because it used to be symbols. We would look at symbols, and I study the Pythagoras version, and where A, B, and A, J, and S are the number one, related to a number 1, because A is the first letter, J is the 10th letter, and S is the 19th letter. Numerology is all about reducing numbers to 1 digit. So 1 plus 9 is 10, and the 10, it makes it a 1. So that's why everything relates to digits 1 through 9. Unless you're a master number, and we don't have time to go into that one. But for right now, it's 1 through 9. Everything's 1 through 9. Numerology has a 9-year cycle. I said this is an 8-year. Next year's our 9 years. It's the last year of our 9-year cycle. And that means completion. Things are going to end. Things will disappear. Things that maybe you weren't ready for them to disappear, but you don't need them. They're leaving because you don't need them, whether you think you do or not. That's part of it. It's a good year next year to clean out your closets, metaphysically and physically. Get rid of stuff, because 2026 is a 1 year, and it's about new beginnings. So you want to think about what is it I want to take with me into my next 9-year cycle? So,
Mm.
Angela, this is how I run my life. It's like I'm constantly thinking of, all right, Suzan, what other business things can I do this year? And I've had so many opportunities and to do interviews for one and talk about being the authority and as a numerologist. And it's been a fabulous year. But anyway, that's basically a little bit about numerology.
Let's go back to the 8 real quick. Me personally, this has probably been one of the toughest years in my business life. You said that 8 is a good business year. Can you talk about maybe the good and the bad for people who might be thinking about, we've got 4 more months left in the year. I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. So what does that mean?
Okay, so numerology, you can break it down into months too. On my website, let me plug my website, wisdomandnumerology.com. If you sign up, it's a freebie. I send you a newsletter every month and I tell you what your month is about for you. Now, the thing, 8 year, 2024 is an 8, 2 plus 2 plus 4 is an 8. But we also have what we call personal year. And the way that you calculate that is that you add your birth month and your birthday to the current year. So if we take yours, which your first two, your month and your birthday add up to an 8, 8 and 8, 16, and you reduce that, 1 plus 6 is 7. So, is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you're in a 7-year. Yeah, this isn't a good year for you. It would be this isn't a business year. Last year was a 7-year universally. That was a year that I chose to write more. That's an internal year. This is the year for you personally, Angela, to go go inward and really ask your questions. It's a year that you might find that you're not so much a reset, but kind of as a rebalance. That's not even the right word either, but really look at maybe what am I doing? Is this what I want to do? There's a new direction in my life. And not only business wise, but asking the big questions. What's my purpose? What am I doing here? So that's your personally in a 7-year, that's what you're into. Now, next year, you're going to fly because that's your business year. So just know that. And as a, and your personal number is a 5, I believe, 14, 15. No, you're a 6. That's home and family. So relationships are important to you. There's no
Very much.
question in my mind. Yeah. Yeah. Home, family, and which is lovely because being a 6, which you are, is really compatible with an 8. In other words, great balance in both numbers. Relationships important. You'd make a good partner in terms of romantic for one, so marriage wise, but also in business if that's something that you chose to do. So, but you are a really spiritual being. Adding up your numbers, I can look at that and I'd say, and you're just a little bit I know of your numbers. You're an old soul. Say that you've been here before, and some people don't believe that, but I'm a firm believer in it, so I go with that. And you're pretty metaphysical. You ask the big questions. So in terms of what are we doing here as a collective? What's life all about? What's the meaning of life? Those are big. You like doing research, and you really this will be the rest of your life, in fact, shows to me that you're going to be doing more work and producing more in terms of information that people want, because that's what your other numbers show me in terms of you're going to do the work, and you don't just do the work and hold on to it, you give it back. That's what your job is to do as a researcher and informative journalist, if you will. Does that make sense? Because you're bringing this, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're bringing this information out to people. So it's a wonderful deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And you kind of hit it on the head there. This year, like I said, has been a tough year for me in the business world. And I have spent, I am a spiritual person. I do believe in God. And I feel like I've spent a lot of time asking that very question, like, show me your path. Like, where am I supposed to be? This has been the year for me to kind of sit in silence, pray, and meditate because I feel like it's unclear right now. And so when you said, the year of the business, I thought, well, business hasn't been great, but this has definitely been a year of reflection.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to go into your cave, if you will, and just meditate and really connect into it with your intuition, with your higher guidance, however you want to call God, whatever you want to call it. Any name doesn't matter. It's the same energy. It's that same energy source. And again, this is your year as a 7 year just to do that, because next year, because what's coming out, you still got 4 months left of this year, right? I can't believe it's gone so quickly, but 4 months of the rest of the year, things will come up. As in a 7 year, this would be a 5 month for you, August. So there's going to be some changes coming up in August. Right. And then, yes, because September is an 8 month. September is always kind of no, excuse me, October is always a preview of the next year. September will be kind of a double energy of whatever this year is. I would also say, as someone that's in a 7 year, this is a good year for you to do a vision quest, if you will. Take a class on, I don't know, meditation, going deeper into what it is that you really want to study. It's okay to take time for yourself this year. That's what it's about. The energy's with you to do that. Next year, you're going to be out there and it's going to go crazy and you're going to be really busy. Things are going to, you will produce things. I promise. Things will come. It'll be clear by the end of the year. How about if I say it that way?
Yeah, sounds good. Suzan, so you mentioned your book. Talk about your journey on why you decided to write a book, and then let's dive into your purpose in your book.
That great question, because I wrote my book because I felt like I had a responsibility to write it. There's lots of numerology books out there, and really good ones too. I've read a lot of them. My book, I think, is my favorite, of course. And it's a book that you can pick up and you say, oh, okay, what is a 7 year? Oh, all right, this page. And then you read a paragraph or two and it tells you enough about this year. I've got it. And then you can put it down. It's not a book you read cover to cover. You can, but it's really more of a reference book to just be able to look at quickly and move on. And because I thought that's how people are now. We don't have time to sit down and read a full research project. It's really this, and I'm really proud. I won a cover award, a Coalition of the Visionary Resources award. So I felt pretty good about that. So I'm really pleased with it. But it really came down to feeling responsible to write this book for people, and it's done well. I'm real pleased with it, and I'm teaching classes now, or I will. I've got some classes coming up. I've got putting out a video on how to be a numerologist. I've got lots of things working. It's all come from the book. It's very exciting.
Gotcha. I feel like, we're in that environment right now. So maybe some tips for people to think about as we're finishing off the year from a business and personal perspective, what you might, utilize the numerology with in that department.
Okay, I would stay away from politics. It'd be my first thing, just my first thing. I'd stay focused on what it is that I want to create. And I'm a firm believer in just let them do their dance, whatever their dance is, let them do it, because what's most important to me is what is it that I want, and what is it that I want to create. And sometimes when you can't control it, right? What's going on. And when you start focusing on things you cannot control, you lose focus on things you can control. Well, I know what I'm doing and I know what I want to do. So I'm moving ahead with that. I think keeping your eye on the prize, whatever it is that you really want to manifest. And again, anybody in their 1 year, absolutely. And again, let me remind everyone, add your birth month and your birthday to the current year. And that's whatever current year. That's the year that you're in right now. So if that number comes up to a 1, that's the beginning of the 9-year cycle.
Hmm.
In that part, and you're going to be there in a few years, 4 years, I think you've got, right? Is that right? 3 years? 3 years. Anyway, in a 1 year, that's the year I tell people this is your year to manifest. This is your year to plant seeds for what you want to manifest in the next 9 years. And I have a 3-year or a 3-column exercise. And I do this for everything, not just what I want to manifest or anything that I want to manifest, and whether it's business, relationship, or whatever. But the first column is your must-haves. So, well, good health, right? Everybody, if you don't have your health, right? So, or whatever. I'm not telling you what to put in your column. This is you to write down everything that you want in your column. So, whatever your must-haves. And then the next column is, what would be nice? Would be nice if, well, okay, be nice if I lost a few pounds, whatever, right? Whatever in that would be nice column. The third one, now this is a biggie, because this is where you really get to dream big. This is your wildest dreams column. You do not censor yourself at all. And you'll be amazed. Just write it down. Just let whatever is coming out, just write it down. And you'll be amazed what happens in those 9 years when you put it on paper, and you let it. It's like, again, connecting to that source and believing whatever comes through. That's your 1 year. That would be a big year. Okay.
Great information, Suzan. If our audience wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to find you?
Through my website, wisdomofnumerology.com, or email me. That's easy. Suzan Owens, Suzan with a Z, Suzan Owens.com, at gmail.com. There we go.
Perfect.
Suzan,
and where can we find your book?
Amazon. And I can sell it to you through my website. Amazon will probably get it to you quicker. So Amazon, it's just, yep, you'll find me there.
Awesome. Thank you, Suzan, for your time today.
Thank you, Angela. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Empower Her Money podcast. I am grateful for you. Please make sure to leave us a 5-star review, like this podcast, share it, subscribe, and let's keep teaching others how to take control and be empowered with their finances.